Okay, thank you. And if you don't want to be seen, you all know that you can take your cameras off or do whatever is needed as we look at that. But this invitation came out to you, I want to say 2 weeks ago, and you received something that said, accept the 21-day walking challenge. And Vakeisha and I've realized there wasn't a single soul that signed up. So that the financial prizes that we have for today, unfortunately, there won't be any today, but we're going to offer the challenge for afterwards as well. But you have to understand why we started with that challenge. We didn't put out in the message it's Heart Health Month or it's American Heart Month because we just wanted to see who would just think about what it means to walk and what it is to do something for one's health. Maybe you're already a part of an exercise group. Maybe you're already a part of a walking group. Maybe you do something weekly or daily, but we wanted to see if we could find accountability partners on this call with us that might be willing to do it. But since we didn't, that's okay. I'm going to give you a 2-minute introduction on the heart health. Then I'm going to introduce Vakeisha and her relationship to heart health. As you know, back in 1964, when LBJ was president, it became a spotlight on our heart health. And this is how things came to fruition. We focus on cholesterol and hypertension, stroke, diabetes associated with our heart disease. And we want to make sure that everybody does what it takes in order to prevent those things from happening. And if those things happen, we want to give you the tools in order to support those things through healthy health and walking. But let me tell you something significant and important that I want each and every one of you to do and to respond. Tell me who on this call, by show of hands, knows CPR? How many? Okay, that's quite a few. Okay, quite a few. Keep it going. Keep it going. If you know CPR, thank you for knowing it, and thank you for making sure each year you sign up and register. Okay, and make sure that you are recertified when you need to be recertified. On Monday of last week, Cedric's mother had a heart attack. And it was because someone was with her and knew CPR and gave her CPR, administered CPR until the paramedics came. They used the paddles and literally brought her back. She's alive, she's blessed, but yep. And I'm using and sharing this story because it was the person who knew, and it was his brother's wife, who is a nurse, and she knew CPR. But we all have an opportunity to be one of those people in the room that might have an opportunity to save someone's life. So that's my story for today, to share why and what is so important to us, right? About cardiovascular disease, and we can save someone's life. So, Vakeisha, our speaker today, it was because someone very close in her life had cardiovascular disease, cancer, some other things that she actually changed her trajectory in life and focused on her passions. And Vakeisha is a part of Walking for Talking, and she's going to explain what that means. But I bet you can get it if you're one of those walkers and you hear it. But Her mission with her company is spirit, soul, and body. And for those of you who aren't afraid of the gospel, that is based on First Thessalonians 5 and 23, our whole body. She's been an advocate since, I can't tell you how long it's been since her father was first diagnosed, but she founded Walking for Talking based on a family situation and circumstance. So I want you all to welcome Vakisha and listen to her story and understand what her story and her journey of advocacy can do for you, and how we want to leave here focused on walking and talking just a little bit at a time. Thank you so much, Vakisha, for being with us.
Oh, Miss Lisa, that was lovely. Thank you so much. It is a pleasure to be with you here today, everyone. And Miss Lisa has kind of really prefaced the story very, very well. Back in 2017, I got a call while I was at work. I used to work for Marriott International for almost 30 years. So back in 2017, I was general manager of hotels, and I got a call that my father was being rushed to the emergency room and he wasn't well. That's odd because my daddy was fine, in our opinion, and nothing really was wrong with him except for a myriad of other things like gout, thyroid disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, and all the other things. So we were surprised when they said that they were taking him because he was having chest pain. And we were like, that doesn't seem like some of the, symptoms that he has for the other stuff. So we got to the hospital and he was rushed into surgery not a day and a half later, and he had to have a quadruple bypass surgery. That night, he looked at me in my face and told me, "Take your mother home with you." And when he came out the hospital, about a month and a half later, um, they stayed with me for a while until they got better enough to be able to go home. But fast forward a few years later, my family has been one that has always kind of had some type of illness. I always joke with my mother and say, Mom, this last bout of what she just had to face was very interesting because my mother has always had surgery, not sickness. So she would have a gallbladder and have a surgery. She would have a calcium this and have a surgery. She would have a hysterectomy, that was a surgery, but she was never really very sick, if you will, just surgery. However, 2017, my sister also was one who had thyroid disease and she had Sjogren's disease. And I had a family that always had something kind of going on with them. So about in 2020, at work, and some other folks are having some challenges at work, and realizing that our people are just really struggling because I usually had properties that were in our communities. And I said, you know what? My family has been ill. Things have been happening. People are not good in their mind. They're not good in their body. And, their soul sometimes stretches and yearns. So I think I'm going to just go out to a park and I'm going to encourage people to walk because it's the easiest thing that we can do to try to stay healthy. I had challenges with arthritis. My mother had challenges with arthritis. And it was like, this is an exercise that is not too hard on your joints, your limbs, and it actually can really strengthen the body. So I figured that if I could get people out to do just a little bit of walking, it would allow us to have the opportunity to talk about the things that really impact our communities and really help us or hurt us. And so I began to do a little walk-in for talking. And at that time, I started to do things with I'd go out to the park and I'd say, okay, I'm meeting at the park. You guys come on out. And we would pick a topic and I would break everybody up into these little groups. Then it was like, okay, we had our strollers. Those were the individuals that would walk and they'd talk a little bit. We had those that were health conscious and they would come and they would run. And so they would go and they'd run and they'd come back. And then we had our moms and our pop-ups because they could never be left behind. And they would come out and they would sit down on the benches, walk as much as they could. And I would give them each a topic to discuss amongst themselves. And when they came back, we would talk about it as a group and I would coach them on the things that we talked about We talked about things from postpartum depression, how to get your power back after COVID. We talked about heart healthy things. We talked about illness in the Black community. And we just really began to try to stabilize how we can grow as a community by doing something as simple as walking. And so from that, in 2020, Walking for Talking was born. And I started out doing things like that with walking in the park. And then I started challenges. And usually we did a 30-day challenge, and we invite people to walk with us, and they'd have to complete 30 miles in a month, 60 miles in a month, or 120 miles in a month. And that seems like a lot, but you'd be surprised how many miles you walk in a given day. And most people on average walk about 30 miles a month. So ideally, what I wanted to do is just get people unscared of the activity of exercise. And I figured that if I would give a little financial carrot, that people might be more moved to try to do something as related to their health, be it body, soul, or spirit. And so we've signed up, had leaderboards. We began to really, encourage people. We had text threads, and we had different guests that would come. One time we had a nutritionist who came and gave free nutrition facts. I had a physical trainer one time come and talk about the proper way to exercise. Had a mental health expert come and talk about how important it was to keep your mind within a specific mind frame in order to be successful and to not be depressed and all the other things. And from that, we continued as we continued, and we grew and we grew and we grew. And God blessed me, and I moved from coaching and walking challenges to leadership development. Having been a general manager at hotels for a long time, I began to really help people format becoming a leader or training and developing their leaders. And then it went into more of a business management position where I began to manage the business, so to speak, and manage other companies' business. And the Lord then blessed me to be able to have a managerial full service consulting firm from something as simple as walking. And today I have one, two, three contracts in which I support full service management consulting, helping people walk through life, walk through their businesses, walk through all different factions of things that they have going on in body, soul, and spirit. And I wanted to encourage you all today by telling you this story and letting you all know that it can be something as simple as walking and something as important as talking that can truly change the trajectory of where you have or what you have in your life. Your family is very impactful. The contract that I sit on is the clinical trials contract, and I will have an opportunity to work within clinical research. And I have an opportunity to work with my family. And I had a beautiful opportunity to bring them to one of the AAHRI events and have them be able to see what it was like to see Black excellence in a room and really talk about cancer. Because in 2023, my mother was diagnosed with cancer. And in October of that same year, she rang the bell. Now, I say all the time, my mother has had lymphoma. And by having lymphoma, they say that, it's not curable, it is treatable. Now, when the doctor looked at my mama, they couldn't find a bit of cancer. She just recently went back to the doctor again. They could absolutely find no lymphoma. Usually it's there and dormant. I always say, I don't know how, but I certainly know who. So we are grateful and we are thankful for her health. And we just encourage you to try to do something, no matter how small it is. If you can do a little walking for talking, it can change your life. Back to you, Miss Lisa.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vakisha. And her story is a beautiful story. So I'm going to ask her to tell us specifically about how walking changed your father's life, because I want them to hear during this heart health month and where your daddy was and what his journey was like, how
Yeah,
it really turned him around. You didn't share all of that.
I
So
did it. I did it.
you need to tell them what that really did. It did lead to all of the other things, but
Yes.
we need to understand how little things make a large difference. So when we don't want to get out the bed, and get up and go to our exercise classes on Monday, Wednesdays, or whatever. And Walter is what, the volleyball coach at one of the classes? I think he is. And there are many people in here who do exercises, but there are others who just don't. They think they have time. So talk about your dad
I
and
certainly
what
will.
what that journey was like for him, please.
Absolutely. My father was one who was always active. I mean, he was always getting up and going. He was a custodian at a high school. He loved kids. He was always doing something. Then he got gout and could not really move at all. And then after the gout, he got this heart disease and it was really bad. And he just couldn't do anything. And so when he came to me,
Tell us
uh,
a little bit about, don't just stop at the
okay,
heart disease and it was really bad. Talk about, he was active, the gout did it, but how that changed his
yes.
life.
Absolutely. I'll tell you all about it because, my father, when we got to the hospital that day, as I mentioned, he had diabetes, he had gout, he had heart disease, I mean, and if he got heart disease, high blood pressure, you name it, he had it. And they told us that my father his heart was operating at 12%. And they stated that with all of his other illnesses, that they did not think that he would even make it out of the surgery. Again, we began to pray. My dad came home with me, and it was critical, a very life and death critical situation. And when he came home with me, I mean, I became the police. He still calls me the police to this day. I got spies all across the country. My father lives in New Jersey. I live in Maryland. He travels sometimes with my mama for church. I got folks that'll send me a picture of him by the rib shack or whatever else so I can keep him together. So he called me the police that time. And my father dropped 50 pounds. I began to monitor his meals. I remember I began to monitor his exercise, and he began to come out with me on my walks. And by him coming out with me on my walks, he began to have a bit more pep in his step. He began to play. There had jungle bars, anything that was at the park, he would become really attached to, seeing people, getting his movement back. Because remember, he got to a place where he couldn't even barely crawl to the bathroom for all the challenges that he had physically. And then he got this heart disease. But just taking him on my walks, he and I used to get up. I said, "All right, Dad, we're going for a walk." And he would come from me, and the park itself was about 3 miles all the way around. And my father would start and he would go as far as he could go. And then I would come and I would pick him up. Within just that little bit of time, my father began to walk that full park with me. He began to show up at my events. He came, he had his hat. I love showing the pictures of all the events that we went to. If it was in Philadelphia, if he could get to it, my father was coming with me. And from that time, my father, you see him today, his heart is now operating better than any one person's heart that is supposed to be. I think each human heart actually works about 60 or 65%. My father, albeit he has a pacemaker, his heart is more healthy than a regular standard person's heart. And it all came from him doing the little bit of exercise that he could until he could do a little bit more and a little bit more and push himself a little bit more. And it was something as simple as walking, just walking. And my father is still with me today, still making me happy. I'm still watching him at the Rig Shack and the Chinese restaurant and everything else to make sure he's doing exactly what he should be. And I would encourage everybody on the call today as well. Start small. If you can't go all the way around the park, walk from this bench to the next one, sit down in the next one, sit down in the next one until you can continue doing it.
That's what they needed to hear. And
Hmm.
I feel, because here is someone who could do nothing. And this is not always about the individuals who um, are doing it, it's about helping others who need to do it. And you can see how Bakisha helped her family, but what her story reflects is how she helped others by creating and doing something else in the park. So our challenge today is, I can't see everybody's face, and that's okay. But what I do want to know is, for those of you who do walk, who do exercise, do you know somebody? This is what this call is about today. We all come on, but how are we helping the next person? Her story for me is about how she helped somebody else. in the journey that she had with walking. So, who's a part of a walking club? Anybody got a walking buddy? No? Okay, all right, Belinda, you're my okay, Mary, go ahead. I'm gonna get Mary and then I'm gonna come to you, Belinda. Are
You
you a
know,
part of a walking club, Mary?
no, I'm not a part of a walking club. I have a neighbor that
Mm.
walks with me. We've
Oh,
been
good.
walking for about 20 years, 6:30 every Saturday and Sunday.
Wow.
We
How far do
walk.
you all walk, Mary?
We walk about 2 miles.
That's great. What do
But
y'all talk
it's
about?
everything, you know. We talk about everything, but it's just the miles are just, they just melt away because you're walking and talking. So walking is really a good thing. And it keeps us moving and healthy. So, but that's
You
what I
probably don't want to invite anybody else to your little group because it sounds like it's so special for 20 years, but
no,
but
I don't mind, but it's just in the neighborhood and it's whoever can get up that early.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
6:30. That's
yeah,
something special. Wow.
yeah.
That's great. We used to, when we had our little walking stuff with the sorority, we would get up early and there were like five of us on a call and in different neighborhoods, and we would get up and walk together and do that when we had a walking challenge for, I guess it was a year, 2 years that
Yeah.
we did that and did a challenge. That's great. I love it.
Mhm.
So, who else is a part? Oh, Belinda, go ahead. I didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not a part of a group, but I do walk and I exercise. And I'm like Mary, the problem for me is that people tell me they want to walk, but I leave the house at 6:15 in the morning. And they want to know if I want to walk at 11 or 12. Well, that's my day. And so it's hard to do a group for me. So I end up doing my thing. But then after I walk to the gym, so I'm getting the walk in as well as the gym in. But nobody wants to get up to be there by 6:15. So
Wow. But that's encouraging. Vakisha, any suggestions for how, we've got people who are walkers, but the time is wrong. Any suggestions on what we can do for that to encourage others, to walk?
Honestly, if you're a walker and you have a family member who's like, I just can't do that 6 o'clock. I always tell people there's nothing better than an evening walk. And my evening constitution, as I like to say. Sometimes when you get ready to come in from work, or I also used to offer what I called Saturday walks, where I would get up on a Saturday and I would do them at 10 or 11 o'clock so that way they can still have their day available. So I would try to do either a weekend walk for those that had the excuses, or sometimes I would offer an after work walk because sometimes you come back after that whole entire day and you've had a lot, just taking a walk around the neighborhood to just unwind and then come in the house. Something simple is really very helpful as well.
Okay. Good encouragement.
Mhm.
Gigi,
All right, I'm
did
gonna
I?
I'm gonna come off of out of hiding here. Hello, everyone. What I'd like to share with you all, I mentor about four people, and they're not necessarily right where I am. One in California, one in Tampa, Florida, one in South Carolina, and one in New Orleans. And I actually do an online walking program where you don't even leave the house. So I'll share it with you. It is Leslie Sansone on YouTube. She's been
Oh,
out there for a number of years, and her programs are designed that every 15 minutes you're walking 1 mile, and you do it all in your house. It's just side to side movement, back and forth, etc. So I hope that that will help. I am up to 6 miles a day, so that is 90 minutes, an hour and a half, and I usually do mine in the morning, getting up around 5:30 or 6, finishing by 7:30. So I hope that.
that's very helpful. Good grief, Gigi. 5:30 or 6. Still you get up? Wow. I've known her a long time. Wow.
I
Ooh.
work in an elementary school, so I have to be at work by
Ooh.
8:45.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense.
Lisa,
Any, yeah, Lillian.
I have
Hmm.
a mixture of exercises. I have a gym. I'm in Florida now, and I'm in Florida. I go to it's a women's gym. It's for women only, and they have classes. I go to class on Monday, Tuesday. On Monday we do calisthenics, some weight and floor exercises, 45 minutes. On Tuesday we do dance for 30 minutes. And on Friday we do the same thing we do on Monday. And in between, I will either try to walk or I will do yoga or exercises. There are all kinds of exercises on YouTube, and I have my favorite yoga instructor on YouTube that I do. Sometimes I can pick the time, how long I want it to be. There's some 15, 20, 30 minutes. So I try to keep busy doing that, but I try to get in some exercise at least 5 days a week, 6 days maybe. When I'm in Richmond, I go to the exercise class at church
Right.
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I try to do something else on Tuesday and Thursday, and sometimes Saturday. Once in a blue moon, I can get my husband out to walk. Once in a while, he'll
John,
walk on his
John,
own.
John.
I walk a lot alone,
In the house
and I go
Oh,
once a week,
once a
like
week.
5 miles.
oh, okay.
5 miles, Johnny.
Yeah,
But he walks off fast, so he's back home in less than an hour.
Oh, wow. That's
Sometimes
great.
5 miles.
Well, I'm encouraged by what you're doing. Oh, thank you for putting that in the chat too, so that we'll have that. YouTube, there you go. It should be saved. That's
That's
excellent.
awesome.
That is great. You know, I mean, I guess I should try that when it rains. I mean, I use I cycle a lot. I don't walk as much as I used to because of my fall, but I cycle. But you've encouraged me because when I travel and like I'm in Atlanta, I do not have a cycle or I can't get to Planet Fitness. So I'm going to use something to actually be deliberate about doing it in the house.
Miss Lisa, another thing that you can do is I know I try to encourage my mother because she loves to be on the telephone. And I myself, I clean my house and your house on the telephone. So I'm not the one who could sit down and cross my ankles and just, relax on the phone. I have to be active. But I would suggest the same thing for those individuals that are much like myself, having the ability and the nuances to be able to walk around the house on the phone. If you can walk around the house on the phone, that's another thing that you can do is you go in the kitchen, come out the kitchen, walk around the dining room, come back through the living room and continue doing that while you're on the phone for that conversation. Something that simple works as well.
That is awesome. Stacy Walker, you are a walker.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Mhm.
Tell us about your walking journey. I'm putting you on the spot, but it's a beautiful journey.
Yes, you are putting me on the spot. So I have a Fitbit, and I used to do. My goal was a minimum of 10,000 steps a day until COVID hit, and so now it's 7,500. Um, and when I was going into the office, I could get my steps in just from walking from the train to the building and back. So that gave me a lot of steps. I belong to a group, and it's also virtual, where we're going to start in. It's through the federal government, and I can't remember the name of it right now. But when I do remember, I'll put it in the chat. So I signed up in January, and we'll start in the end of May, and it'll be a 30-day challenge. And that money goes towards helping other federal employees that are in need.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, and I wanted to say something about Leslie. My sister and I, when she was living with me, we would get up in the morning and we would do Leslie in the morning before we went to work. And Leslie has a gospel workout as well for gospel
Oh,
music or hymns. I have to go and look because I used to follow her when she had VHS tapes out. That's how long ago we were
wow.
following her. So I have her CDs and her VHS tapes.
Gigi, do you listen to the gospel side of it or do you which one do you do? Yes, you do. Okay, I figured. That is awesome. That is great.
I actually
Man.
do I do quite a bit because I have to do the different variations. She has a lot of them. Once you got on YouTube, you will see that. Another gentleman I wanted to mention, and this is for your people that are less mobile and you want them to do
Mm-hmm.
something. He actually does it from the chair, and he's a black guy. His name is Paul Eugene, and you can see him on YouTube.
Okay.
And he's
And he
excellent for
does
people.
chair exercises.
Yes, he does chair exercises. So when I had my mother with me and she had had a stroke, I would
Mm-hmm.
have her to sit in the chair and she would do Paul Eugene from the chair. So here's a design for those individuals that are less mobile.
Mm.
That's great. I tell you another personal anecdote and story for mom, as you all know, who's bedridden and has been. The caregivers force her, encourage her. Every morning she does leg and arm exercises, and before she goes to bed she does leg and arm exercises for that mobility that she needs, even though she is not mobile. So it does
Mm.
do good for all. I want to encourage us to continue. Is there anybody who is on the call that is not doing exercise, that is motivated to do 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or something different? This is your safe space. You know, we learned last month how we're supposed to be eating. So we're trying to make sure our hearts are right and doing just little steps. If there's anybody that needs a partner, you see these names on here. If you want to get connected or reach out directly to Vakisha, and she will start you on a journey. You've got the videos, the names, the others too, but if you want some additional support and help, she is out there. Is anybody inspired for us to seek to do a challenge as a group, a 21-day challenge that we can start in March and come back and see how effective we have been as a team just by signing up on
Let's see one.
on the app? We can send it out again to everybody. We sent it out once, but we'll get Japeth to send out the information and we'll sign up. So Stacy, you put your thumbs up. Can we count on? I'm going to join. Can we
What
count on anybody else?
what's the challenge? I don't remember seeing that. I guess maybe I overlooked it. But
Oh,
the
that's
21
okay.
day.
It's
What's
a
the
explain the challenge to the group, and so everybody will understand what it's all about, Vakisha.
Yes, Miss Lisa. And one of the things I was saying too, and I'll explain this part because I know tech, like we talked about, technology sometimes can be a bit rough. So if you all want to text or you want to call or you want to email and say, Vakisha, I want to participate, I'll take that too. So essentially what it is 21 days for you to walk either the 30, the 60, or 120 if you're that girl or that guy within that time frame. What you do is you sign up and then it is not
120 minutes or
miles,
miles.
miles.
Okay. Make
Mhm.
sure you tell us what we yeah.
Miles. So for those that have an iPhone or a phone, if you keep that with you, that actually does a lot of the tracking as well too. But I did hear someone say they have a Fitbit. You can get one from Walmart, you can get them from Amazon, and they're usually less than $10 that can track your steps. Essentially what it is, you have that 21 day time frame to walk as many miles as you possibly can. And the leader from each one of the groups, if you say, I know I'm gonna do 30, I'm gonna do 60, I'm gonna do 120, the person who is the outstanding walker in that group gets a cash prize. So that is how that works. She said, I will join. Okay. So you can certainly join to do that. And then you get text messages to encourage you. You might get an email. You might get like a little video note that's saying, all right, where are we? To just stay encouraged. The question that I had before was, okay, does it include the walks and the steps I have in the house? The minute your foot hits that floor for that
Amen.
day, you get to
Yes,
count
sir.
those steps. Because the idea is to get you encouraged to do more.
Mhm. This is a good time too because we're going from winter to spring. Soon it'll be March. Stacy, you'll be
Mhm.
ready for your May challenge or whenever that one is. And you'll be encouraged, whoever wins each of those areas. If you've never done this walking before, by all means do the 30 miles. If you've done something, push yourself. If don't go for 60, go for 120 just to see, just to challenge yourself. Gigi, I'm going to make you go 180. I'm kidding. But that's not even a category, but that's a lot of miles and a lot of walking for for us to do for a 21-day challenge, not a 30-day challenge, correct? Or should we? Yeah, we're going to do 21. No, we're going to do 21 because we're going to come back the fourth Tuesday in March and be accountable. So we're going to get you to come back so you can give us our scores and tell us what we've done.
Okay.
So do we have 100% participation on this line? I can't see hands. Are we close?
I can't, I'm on my phone, so I can't find the hand thing, but I'll be willing to do it. That'll be fine.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Okay.
Lisa, would we have to record or document or submit something to show what we are doing, or
Yes.
how would that whole thing work? Okay.
Yes, I do have an electronic means to do that, but I did have some that were technologically challenged. I always say that I am open from 8 to 80 and even much higher than that. So if you text me or you call and say, all right, Vacation, I've done, 2 miles today. I've done a mile today. You can certainly do that. I want to make it easy, but we do have a form that if you
Do
want.
you have access to pull up your form, one of your forms, just so you can show the group what that looks like that will be coming to them that we will send?
Let me show them the sign up form because it's an actually we have the sign up form that you just put your name and everything on. I'll show you that, and then I'll also pull up the Google so you can see the actual. It's just an Excel spreadsheet. It's very simple.
So are we starting tomorrow, Lisa?
We
March 1st.
March 1st.
Okay.
Sunday, March 1st. Or yeah,
Oh,
that would be
Miss
good.
Lisa, can you let me share, please?
Oh, yeah, I think I can. Yeah, I told you my person is not here, so let me see what I can do. Don't you laugh.
Listen, that's laughing out of love. That's laughing out of love, I tell you.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, perfect. So this is the form that it's I send this to you all in email, but if you did not see it, one moment, where am I? Can you see my screen now?
It's coming up.
You see it now?
We see it.
Perfect. This is the form that you would fill out, which level, your name, your email, your phone number, and that is it. So this is just a link that's already been sent. We will resend it. We'll have Jap send it again. So that comes on for that. And then let me see my lovely little form. One moment. You all bear with me. Y'all looking at my business.
All exposed.
All exposed for my business. Let me go ahead. Hold on just one second. I'll find it.
Okay.
And share.
Lisa, was that in the email that we got with the Zoom link on it?
It was sent 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago separately. What I'm going to I'm going to see if I can find it and resend that one that had all of the detail on it. If I can resend it, or I will have Jap send it to us tomorrow.
Okay.
So that we all have it. And if you have any questions about it and don't know how to do the form, Vakisha's phone number and email are going to be in the same document so that you can reach her directly and she will help you do exactly this. Okay. Because we don't want the forms to be a barrier.
Okay.
So this is very simple. And what we do is you just put the date in, you could text it to me and you text your amount, or you go into the leaderboard and you put your miles in. So just to let you know, basically 2,000 steps equals 1 mile. So I'd heard somebody say they're up to 7,500. So you break that down, that would tell you how many miles you would do in that day. And what I would love to do at the end of the mile, at the end of the challenge, is I do the group total miles. And there we have walked to Texas with some of the miling amounts we went. One time we walked all the way to Florida based on the total amount of miles that we completed as a group. So
Oh,
just
that's cute.
just a
Yeah.
little bit of fun to see how far you actually walked. But this is
Yeah.
just that simple. I put everybody's name down for whatever level they are. You'll see here 30 miles in 30 days. So ours will say 30 miles in 21 days, or 60 miles in 21 days, or 150. And there's one sheet for each group. Does that help a bit?
Yes, it does.
Okay,
Hmm.
perfect. So if you're technologically challenged, or you're like me and you just like, I don't wanna, you can certainly text me and I'll do it for you.
And that's very thoughtful of
Let's
you,
do it.
Vakisha, to do
Well,
that.
I'm gonna
And
do it. I don't want to
yeah.
do it.
I want to do it, though.
So
God,
Johnny, you gonna do it with us?
I'm gonna do
He
it.
said he is. Let me see what he's gonna do. You know, he walks a long way, but doesn't do it regularly. So I'm gonna try to
Once
get
a
him
week.
once a week.
Okay. Well, he
Okay.
might not, he might hit the leaderboard with just once a week because he goes so far.
Yeah,
Listen,
So
right.
I had somebody win every single time. This man, since I've had this, he wins every single one. And that's because he walks his dogs.
oh
Mhm.
wow.
Literally, he
Get your
gets it from
dog
just
on.
walking his
I'm
dogs.
walking.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm
So that's gonna
encouraged.
come out. Did you say we can post the information on the master sheet on the master form? Okay. All
Mhm.
right.
And it's an honor. It's an honor system. I don't want you putting that you did 16 miles in a day,
Okay.
but it is an honor
It's
system.
honest. I'm honest because I mean if you're not telling the truth, you're not hurting anybody but yourself. So
That's exactly
Yeah,
right.
it's the honor system.
mhm.
Okay, you forwarded something to Sharon, you just did. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, that's perfect. This is the Walking for Talking challenge. So that's excellent. Okay, so we will be sure to send that out and get it. Everybody, this is so, I was so inspired and so motivated to hear what just a little bit of walking from somebody who wasn't walking like that regularly. Vakisha, you didn't even say you weren't walking like that.
Oh no, 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 ma'am. I was not. I was.
Right. You didn't tell him you were not a walker. She didn't do it. She did it because she wanted to
Mhm.
help her dad. She wanted to help and make a difference. So
Mhm.
this is our start to making a difference. I want us to remember First Thessalonians
Amen.
5:23, spirit, soul, and body, the whole body, is something we can do. And a part of heart health is about that whole body pumping, our keep our body pumping. It'll help us with our hypertension, it'll help us with our diabetes, it'll help us with our mental health, it'll reduce the stress. So this is just something that we can do and start and maybe keep up, and maybe it's something that this group will find partners and buddies and continue to do. So I thank you, everybody. Any questions for Vakisha or each other on what we do? This was a great session on understanding what your passion can lead to. And thank you for sharing your family's journey because it's so empowering.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's
Mhm.
my pleasure. And I just to let everybody know, based on scheduling, I sometimes will come out to you to do a walk. I tell people if you have 25 people and you have a place
Oh,
for us to walk, I will
wow.
also host a walk with you. And I do have sign up to do that. If you're interested in doing something like that and the schedule aligns, that's something that I do.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Any
My pleasure.
questions? And Mary, is Brooklyn winning the game? Are they winning? She might not come off mute, but she'll tell us.
Lisa,
Yes. Yes.
um, I'm
Hey, Jackie. Yes.
I'm in the car and the other car keeps transferring me.
Oh, okay. No
But
worries.
but listen, I didn't get any of the initial information because I don't think you guys had my information to send it to me. Put it in the chat
Yeah.
so you could send me the form and everything.
Okay, you put it in the chat? Okay.
Yes, I put it in the chat. So if you could send me the information, I would really appreciate it.
I will. Absolutely.
So, Lisa, if we are getting the information about these Zooms every week, then you should give those the
Yes,
people you're
then you
sending the
should
form to.
absolutely have that. And
Well,
I'll
I just saw it in the bulletin and signed up for the Zoom. I hadn't seen and I'm new to the church, so I really haven't done anything before.
well, we are glad that you are joining us and are part of the call. So this is excellent.
We thank you.
Yeah.
You need some help? Yeah, there's food in the car. Thank you.
We're coming with you because there's food in the car. Here we
Exactly.
go.
And she
There
needs
we
some
go.
help. Can you help me too? Ask Malika
Listen,
help me.
honey, I wanna be clear. I went and bought food for the family. I'm gonna go in the house and make me something, okay?
Okay.
Okay. There you go. There you go. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Anybody
Right.
else? Thank you for putting that in the chat. So that's great. And we've got wow, Paul Eugene has 59 videos.
Mm.
Wow. Okay.
I guess they say nobody can have any excuses off of that now. Okay.
No, we don't. And one more chat.
Okay.
Okay, your
See
challenge.
another
There's
walk.
another one. So if you want us to join that one after this one, Stacy, if there's a way for us to join, do we have to be a part federal or can we do it to help contribute?
So the downside is that there is a fee to join.
Okay.
Usually there's a fee for mine as well, but because we love you so
Gee,
much.
thank you, Vakisha. I know. This is free for us. That's
Free
okay.
for
We
you.
got
This is free for you.
but that's okay. Let us know. We might be ready for fees and all the things that we need to. But this is what just having opportunities throughout the year, like Vakisha was saying, she would go to different parks, she would go to different places and encourage and do this. So I think that's a great opportunity. So this is great. Okay, I won't keep you. It's 7:22. If you have any other encouraging words for each other, please share. We're glad to have you. So
And Miss Lisa, thank you all so much for having me today. It was a pleasure to be here and share my
absolutely.
story. Until the next
Yes.
time.
Okay. All right, everybody. Be
All right.
blessed and
Thank
see
you.
you
Take
next
care.
month
Good
and
night.
see you walking virtually.
Thank
All
you.
Good
righty.
night. Good
Bye
night.
now.
Bye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.